Okay, the fourth video is on using the quadratic formula. So note that they no longer give you the formula in the exam, so you need to learn it. Okay, and I will go through what that formula is in a moment. The first thing you need to be able to do is to recognise what the standard quadratic equation layout is. And it's this: ax squared plus bx plus c. Easiest way to remember that is a, b, c in alphabetical order, and each term goes down an x by 1 each time. So you've got x squared here, then 1x, and then no x. Okay, now if I compare that to what I've got here, which is 3x squared minus 5x minus 1, we can see what a, b, and c is. A is 3. B, always take the sign, is minus 5. And c is minus 1. So don't forget a is positive 3, which is why a was just 3. So those are the three values we are going to use. Now the quadratic formula is this. You're solving to find x. This is the quadratic formula. Okay, and this is now just a basic substitution question. Okay, so I'm going to plug in a, b, and c wherever I see it, and I'm going to put things into brackets to make things a bit easier as well. So minus is already there, and then b. Now b was minus 5, so I need a minus 5 there. Plus minus the square root of b squared, so minus 5 squared, minus this whole thing I tend to put in a bracket. So 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is minus 1, all over 2 times a, which is 3. Now, before you put that into a calculator, I always tell students to try and get a single number in your square root symbol down here and here as well. It just makes life easier. For students that don't, they always notice something goes wrong, and it's normally a negative issue. So the negatives pose an issue here, okay? So try and get a single numerical value in the square root symbol, and that just comes by simplifying it as much as possible. So minus 5, with a negative next to a negative makes a positive. Then I'm going to sort out everything in the square root symbol. So minus 5 squared, well, remember, when you square a negative, it makes a positive. So minus 5 times minus 5 is 25. Minus, and then I'm going to work out 4 times 3 times minus 1. So 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times minus 1 is minus 12 over 6. So again, note, a negative and a negative makes a positive. So that becomes 5 plus minus the square root of 25, add 12 over 6. And then that becomes 37 in the square root symbol over 6. Now again, if it said third form, that's your answer. The question originally did say to 2dp. Okay, so I need to put the plus version into my calculator and the minus. Now for students that don't like to simplify or haven't really gotten into the habit of getting a single value here, your calculator doesn't really understand negative numbers sometimes. It does rely on you putting brackets in the right place. So what you may end up actually getting is an error, because you might end up doing 25, or in this case it doesn't actually matter, but if that number is bigger than the first number, you'll get a negative in your square root, and then you get math error. So you've just got to be very, very careful. I would always recommend getting a single value like 37 in your square root symbol. Okay, so you've got the plus version that we're going to find, and we've got the minus version. So the plus version is just 5 add root 37 over 6. The negative version is 5 minus root 37 over 6. So you just put that into a calculator individually. So I've got 5 plus root 37 over 6, and that gives me to 2dp 1.85. And then I'm just going to go back and change that to a negative 5 minus root 37 over 6, and that gives me 0.18 with a negative, so it's negative 0.18. And that's it. So really, for this type of question, the first thing you need to do is to identify a, b, and c. Plug it into your formula, which is this one here, and then simplify it until you've got something as simple as this. And then you put the plus version into your calculator and the minus. Okay? And I've got another one for you, and then that's the end of this section. So, again, really important to identify a, b, and c. So I'm going to write ax squared plus bx plus c underneath so that we can identify a, b, and c. So a is minus 5, b is minus 4, and c is 3. So I'm going to plug that into my formula, which is this, minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So again, just plugging things in where I need it. So I've got minus and then b, which is minus 4, plus minus the square root of minus 4 squared minus, open up my bracket, 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. And then let's simplify. So minus and a minus makes a plus, that's positive 4, plus minus the square root of minus 4 squared is 16, minus, and then 4 times minus 5 is minus 20, minus 20 times 3 is minus 60, all over, and then 2 times minus 5 is minus 10. We've got a double negative in our square root symbol, so that becomes a plus, so 16 plus 60 over minus 10, and then that becomes 4 plus minus the square root of 76 over minus 10. And then again, once we've got it down to the simplified version, which is this, I'm going to find the plus version and the minus version. So the plus version is just a plus in front of the square root symbol, and the minus version, so that's not supposed to be a minus there, and then the minus version is just 4 minus root 76 over minus 10. Okay, so I'm going to put that into my calculator, so plus root 76 over minus 10, which is minus 1.27, and then minus version